welcome back to the channel. I'm recording this as soon as I wake up, so I apologize if my voice is worse than normal. Today we're going to be looking at the Foetracer, which recently got buffed and the season dropped. Its perk, Relentless Tracker, now states that damaging a powerful combatant or guardian with any ability grants you a temporary bonus weapon damage matching the subclass type. And defeating a target with the matching damage type creates an elemental pickup, that being a fire sprite, a tangle, stuff like that. And yes, this is an actual full-on weapon buff, not what it used to be before, which was a single target buff on low health. So this does carry over to just regular adds. As you can see here, we're doing regular damage 1826 to crit and 1218 to the body. And this is regular base damage with no buff applied. But as soon as we activate the perk by hitting Carl here with an ability, we see the damage does change, going up to 283 per crit and 1522 per body. So like I said before, this is an actual weapon buff and does carry over to just regular adds, but you need to hit a powerful opponent in order to activate the perk on the helmet. And it is as simple as just hitting something with an ability. Now, what actually counts as an ability? That's what I'm here to figure out. So I went ahead and did the dirty work for you guys, and here's everything that actually activates the ability on the helmet. Whirling Maelstrom, the new strand aspect we got for the season. The Strand Grapple Grenade. The initial explosion from Threat Inspector. Damaging and exploding a tangle. Okay, so what if I actually hit a target with a tangle? The thread links that are created by the Threat Inspector. Ensnaring Slam. Shatter Dive. The Winter Shroud Dodge. Trapper's Ambush. Hatchling, the weapon perk. Destabilizing and volatile rounds. Tempest Strike. Disorienting Blow. What about the concussive blast of Disorienting Blow? All of the solar knife throws. Knock 'em down. Volt Shot. Glacial Grenades. Headstone. And finally, the elemental orbs that we get to throw around this season. An important note is that you cannot re-proc the perk until the timer is done. You have to wait for the timer to run out and then hit the enemy with another ability in order to keep the buff active. And here I'm really just trying to show off you can keep the buff active. This is the most consistent way. As long as you're waiting for the timer to fully run down, then you can hit the enemy with an ability. There is no internal cooldown or anything like that. Now this helmet is primarily a burst damage option. You're meant to get into the boss area, proc the perk, and lay into it with your heavy, assuming it's matching your subclass damage type. And because it is a weapon buff, you can proc the perk on the boss and then just lay into add to clear out everything for your team. And for anyone paying attention, I did not mention incandescent in my testing, and there's a reason for that. Let's get into it. Now, for some reason or another, anything that does any kind of solar or explosive damage can trigger the perk. As you can see, Carl in the back, he is scorched, and so is Doggo right here in front of me. However, if we look on the left side of my screen, the perk is not active. So that would make people think, okay, so incandescent doesn't proc it, right? Well, that's initially what I thought too. But as you can see with this clip, after I back up and get one of the dogs, it procs it. I'm not too sure as why this is happening. Best I can think of is that the game itself is having trouble distinguishing what is an actual weapon ability, Scorch proc, and a class ability, Scorch proc. And from time to time you get something like you're seeing here, where the Scorch is re-procking the perk on the helmet. Again, I don't think this is intentional, so don't rely on this to just consistently keep procking the perk. And this is only a solar subclass thing because I'm getting this to also proc with a hand cannon with explosive payload, as you can see here. Now this in itself is not very game breaking, so if you get it to proc with something like this, then I guess take advantage of it. But don't expect it to stick around forever. This is clearly, like I'm saying, not intentional. And I wish I could say that that is all that is kind of buggy with this thing right now. But if we go to the Void subclass, I got some other things to show you guys. Now on the Void subclass, if I hit Carl with Weaken and back up to try and get some damage numbers, I'm getting 1409 to the body and 214 to crit. And this is definitely a jump up from the standard damage, which is 1226 to body and 1471 to crit. But if you go back and hit Carl with a regular grenade and not the weakened grenade, you get 1838 per body and 2757 per crit. That means you're getting less damage with weaken and this helmet than you would be if you just hit him with a regular grenade. And this is only on the Void subclass. I tested this on Solar with Radiant and the numbers were consistent. The only reason as to why I think this is happening is that Bungie doesn't want too many weapon buffs and debuffs to be stacking. So there has to be something in the code that's preventing us from getting any kind of crazy damage output with the helmet and weaken combined. But it could also be that the helmet is just really bugged and this is just one more thing that's messed up with it. So I do not recommend using this on the Void subclass with the Hunter until this is patched or Bungie comes out and says no, it's intentional. Especially for anyone out there who is just more concerned with damage output than anything else. But for anyone else who's looking to have some fun with this thing, if you stick to the abilities that I mentioned that do proc the perk on the helmet, you'll be just fine. Unless Bungo decides to change that at some point in the future, in which case I'll make an update video on this thing. And that's pretty much it, guys. I knew this thing was a little bugged going into this video, but I wanted to get at least a baseline for everyone to know exactly what is going to work with this helmet and what isn't. And if there are some big changes, I will make another video and update you all, okay? This one was a real headache to make, man. So I would really appreciate it if you guys liked and subscribe and, all that good stuff. But above all else, remember, keep a kind heart, a keen mind, and a savage soul. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.